All right, let's get right into it. What are the absolute biggest threats facing all of us right now? And maybe more importantly, what's lurking just over the horizon? Today, we're going to break down the latest global risks report from the World Economic Forum to figure that out. Now, this isn't just someone's opinion. This report is a huge deal. It pulls together the insights of over 1,300 top experts from around the globe. People in business, government, science. Basically, they're asked to look at the big picture and tell us what they think are the most severe risks we're facing, both right now and over the next decade. And, their overall assessment is, well, it's pretty sobering. This one line from the report really sets the tone for everything else. It paints a picture of a world that's incredibly fragile, unstable, where one wrong move could send everything tumbling down. And here's where it gets really telling. Just look at the numbers. For the next couple of years, half of all these experts are bracing for a turbulent or stormy world. But here's the kicker. When you look out 10 years, that pessimism actually grows to 57%. Think about that. The further these experts try to see into the future, the more concerned they get. So that's the big question, right? What exactly are these experts seeing that's making them so anxious? What's behind this really negative outlook for both our present and our future? Let's dig into the specifics, starting with the crises that are right on our doorstep. So first, the report looks at the short term. You can think of these as the fires we're actively trying to put out right now. These are the risks that the experts see as the most severe over the next 2 years. And what's at the absolute top of that list? Number 1, geoeconomic confrontation. And get this risk jumped up 8 spots from last year's report. So it's something global leaders are getting worried about, and fast. Okay, so what on earth does that actually mean? Well, it's basically when countries start using their economic muscle not just to get rich, but to use it like a weapon. It's like warfare, but instead of armies, you're using economic policies to try and box in your rivals. And this isn't some abstract theory. We see it happening all the time. It's things like tariffs, right? Or restricting access to critical tech like AI and computer chips. It's screening foreign investments, even using the flow of essential goods as a tool to put pressure on other countries. And here's why this should matter to you. These huge power plays at the global level, they mess with the supply chains that bring you literally everything, from your smartphone to the food you eat. It creates delays, drives up prices, and can throw the whole global economy out of whack. But, the crises we're fighting aren't just between countries. A lot of them are happening within countries. And ranked right up there with the economic stuff are 2 threats that are totally linked: the deep divisions in our societies and the flood of misinformation that's making it all worse. I mean, this picture really says it all, doesn't it? We've gone through this massive revolution in how we get our information. We've shifted from a world where we all kind of saw the same curated news to one where our feeds are totally personalized by algorithms. And the speed of this change is just staggering. Take the US, for example. Over a third of people now say social media is their main source for news. This completely changes the game. Instead of a shared set of facts, we're all in our own little information bubbles, which just makes that polarization and disinformation we talked about even more dangerous. So yeah, we're busy battling all these things: economic conflicts, deep social divisions, this whole information crisis. These are the immediate fires. But this is where the report drops its biggest bombshell. It asks a really critical question. While we're so consumed by all this, what are the even bigger dangers that we're completely ignoring? So now, we're going to shift our focus. Let's look past the next 2 years and peek at the next 10. And what these experts see on that longer horizon is a totally different and, frankly, a much scarier kind of storm. Okay, so take a good look at this list. These are the top 5 risks for the immediate future, the next 2 years. You see all that geopolitical and societal stuff we just talked about? Right at the top. Got it? Okay, remember this. Now watch what happens when we jump ahead to the 10-year view. Whoa, it's a completely different world. The geopolitical risks have mostly vanished from the top, and what's taken their place? It's all green. All environmental catastrophes, extreme weather, ecosystem collapse, fundamental changes to the planet itself, they shoot right to the top. And this is the single most important point in the whole report. It's showing us there's this dangerous disconnect. We are so busy putting out today's fires, the political fights, the economic battles, that we're ignoring this massive environmental storm that experts believe is going to be the biggest danger of all. And hey, there's another risk that makes a shocking leap. Check this out: the adverse outcomes of AI. In the short-term, 2-year view, it's way down at number 30, barely on the radar. But in the 10-year outlook, it catapults all the way to number 5. That tells you that experts are deeply worried that the long-term consequences of AI could be absolutely massive. And if you had any doubt about how serious the long-term environmental outlook is, this chart just makes it crystal clear. When you ask the experts specifically about environmental risks over the next decade, a whopping 73%, that's nearly 3 out of every 4, predict a turbulent or stormy future. So where does all this leave us? Are we just doomed? The report actually argues no. These findings, as scary as they are, they're not a prediction set in stone. They're a warning, a call to action about the path we're on right now. And this quote right here, this gets to the heart of it. It's all about our agency. The future isn't some fixed destination. It's a range of possibilities, and the one we end up with depends entirely on the choices we all make starting today. So if we boil this entire report down to its essence, it's a story about 2 clashing timelines. We have these urgent, short-term crises that are eating up all of our attention. But that focus is costing us because it means we're neglecting these slower-moving, long-term threats that could be way more devastating. The biggest challenge for us is to figure out how to do both at the same time. And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? This is what the whole report is asking every single one of us. How do we actually solve the emergencies of today without completely sacrificing our chances of surviving the profound challenges of tomorrow?